If anyone asks, I have not played before. Looks about right. And the current time eight 14 p.m. Okay. So I think my mic is on. And so I will begin the game, apparently for the first time ever.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 might have considered it soul-loading. Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
Stanley had
Never in all his years at the
ADHD.
company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is very strange.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So we'll do everything he says. Because I have no reason not to.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Good 5-10 minutes in here. Because it is very funny.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Which I don't know.
2845.
Which I do know.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
8. It's 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Exactly what happened.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Even stranger.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
What?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door of the
Fucking hell.
red mind control facility.
I walked through that door. I did not escape. Because the narrator did not tell me that I did.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I was trying to find one that says pirate, but... Oh, yeah. That one right, that was right at the top there. Can I zoom in? No. I think, yeah, that's pirate.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Cannot relate to Stanley at this moment.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Had he thought that the Queen would live forever?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Nobody tells me which button to press. Oh yeah, it tells you.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes, he had won.
Hello, hello.
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange
Oh, I
building
was adjusting
hold?
my mic.
But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
Which is what I just spent the entire game doing.
It will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him.
Yes.
This was exactly
in
the
Minecraft.
way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Well, he wasn't living in England then. Yay, beat the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, that's an interesting question, whether they actually understood when they were making Everyone's Gone to Rapture, or if they were just following a list of commands. That is a bad idea to make a joke
Stanley
about
came
Chinese
to a
room
set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
I did not, because I've just been
This was
told
not
to
the correct way to the
make my
meeting
own
room,
decisions.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to
I did
stop
not.
by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I'm not doing that either. I mean, no way out.
Yes,
Oh,
truly
fuck.
a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Well, I'm not doing that. Yeah, Little Orpheus just came out.
Stanley was so bad at following
It was on
directions, it's
Apple
incredible it
Arcade
wasn't
for
5
ages.
years ago.
I was fired years ago, that's true.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize
And I
that
do this
investing
without
your
doubt.
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story... Stanley. What?
Yes.
Really? I was in the middle of something.
Gamer
Do you
skills.
have zero consideration for others? Are you
Yes,
that convinced that
that
I
as
want
well.
something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
If you wanted to show me something beautiful, you'd show me a cat.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked
It's not.
through the red door.
No, I didn't.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
No, I didn't.
Stanley walked through the red door.
No, I didn't do that either.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You
No,
want to
I
know
went
so
behind.
badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't
Yes, I
let
do.
me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it
Yes.
worth ruining the entire story I had
Yes, it
written
was.
out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help
No,
me
it's
here,
not.
Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have
No, I
made this
won't.
game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me.
No.
You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
No, I have
Tell you
given you
what,
a lot.
let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback.
No, I can't.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
No.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
It's a bit mid, really.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really?
Well,
Maybe
it's not
next
an edge
time we can
7.
get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think
No.
we can do that?
No.
Yes?
No.
Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version.
No,
And to
you
be
haven't.
perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's
No, you
take a
haven't.
look.
No, we won't.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on.
No,
and
you
now
haven't.
would be a lovely opportunity
It
to
wouldn't.
give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind
Money
taking a look
down
at it, would
first.
you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click
With
the
your
button
sofa.
to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course,
mean,
the message of the game only
It's
becomes
no richer
clear
than
once
us.
you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Actually, this is quite good. I like this one. This is... I'd probably bet.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's
I
the latter,
did
well,
it
I
for
don't
the
know what
one
to do.
person
I'm
who's
completely
watching
out
this.
of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done.
Look,
It's
he's
over.
fine.
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
No, it
oh,
wasn't.
hey, since my game was so awful,
No,
why don't
it
we play
wasn't.
someone
It was
else's
actually
game?
good.
Just to ease the pain. Let's see.
Yay.
What do we have here? Yes.
Yes, I did.
This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
You were amazing.
Aha! Fascinating. What
This
do
is
you
a bit
think
more
this
like
game
it.
is about, Stanley? What's our backstory?
I think
What
it's
is our
about
motivation?
loss and moving on.
Well, it seems
from...
obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose.
You're not far off,
That must be
actually.
it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley.
Now-
And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Now I have to try the PC one to see if it's the same. I draw the line at getting an Xbox, but I might try it on Switch.
Oh no.
Because
No, it can't be.
I guess that would be Mario or something. Don't
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly
mean-
block it off.
Yeah, neither have I. I
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any...
I mean, there are...
Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
And we can choose to
Now,
follow.
Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Is it Fortnite?
Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
I've never played Rocket
Stanley,
League.
if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Yeah, but I'm not going to score a goal.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Where's the ball? I'm doing the football.
Are you doing it? Are you winning?
Yes, I am.
Fun?
Watch me,
Is it
Daddy.
better than my miserable... Hold on. What are you doing?
I don't know. I've never played this before. Oh no.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story
No one
without
can
me?
help
You
me.
can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come.
You haven't done this bit on this Steam version, so... That was amazing. This is my home. I think this is a recreation of the original mod. Because it definitely doesn't look like the original Steam version. But I've never
I
played
wonder
that.
what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll
No, I'm
understand
not.
soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this
All you
ends,
can
after it
do
all
is let
comes to
me
a
play.
close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come.
If he doesn't
Eventually,
what?
someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, I thought there was another route here.
Wow. Yes, this room. What? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Is this better?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He
I
wanted
moved
to
the mic
wander
closer.
about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep,
That
okay.
must be very
yes.
confusion ending.
I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to,
I mean, you're bigger and you're older than him, I assume,
it's all rubbish
so...
now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to
You shouldn't-
salvage this
you
nonsense,
shouldn't let him
we'll
bully
just
you.
restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, but you're wiser.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
This is perfectly fine and normal. This is what good pathing looks like. It may not... No.
I'll say it. This
I
is
can't.
the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
When I did French at school, I spent our first year doing absolutely nothing, and nobody even
All of
noticed.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I mean, that would make sense. Both you and the narrator.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this
No,
wrong.
my
It's
freedom of
possible the
choice.
story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
I'm sure the story's here somewhere.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait,
Here's a
never
good
mind.
story.
Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all.
Story,
Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall. Stanley?
Story.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Already won. I can't win
I know you put
again.
in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh no.
This is what
I don't feel right about this at all.
being king feels
We
like.
both know
You put
didn't
in a lot
any
of hard
actual
work
for
and
that
it paid
win.
off.
Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got
Best
a
part of the
solution.
game.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Very. Need something though. Not sure quite what.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
Have you so far?
Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this
I want a
office,
Funko Pop
is
of it.
this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not
Back
sure
there?
where I was going with all that. You know what?
I mean,
think
we were
what
going
need
by the
right
line.
now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
This character is kind of ferning it in.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is
looking
any
for
of
the
this
line.
ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we
I mean,
trusted
the line
you,
edits
after
here. I
everything
trust the
we've been
line
through,
more than I trust you.
Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure
I
line.
will never
What's it ever
forget the
done for
adventure
us?
line.
We're intelligent people, right?
I am ride or
Why
die
don't we
for
make
the
up our
adventure
own
line.
story? Something
Preferably,
exciting, daring,
well, if I have to,
mysterious.
die.
Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Put that line.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Could
What
do
do you
with a
want
line,
our
though.
story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
I
Whatever it might
imagine
be,
a line.
Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No
I
lines
veto
or
vetoing the
monotones.
line.
Just
Do
don't
not
acknowledge
disrespect
it.
my
We should be
line.
fine.
Borat voice my line. I mean, not Borat voice my line.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door
Can't
has
tell
to
me what
lead
to do.
somewhere, which means that
Holding a
somewhere,
blank
the
sign
place where we're
and
trying to go,
going
there must be a
clockwise.
reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
didn't even
So
notice.
starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door
I
lead us
ignore
to
any
where we're
line which is
going?
not the Stanley
And
Parable
since the
adventure
answer is
line.
clearly yes, then by
So-
all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
And I love this bit because both doors lead here.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say
Because
in all
it
of this?
says here,
Is it really?
the game restarts on
No,
its
it
own.
can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't
So
restart
you
the game.
either
I
restart
won't
the
do
game
it.
or
I
you
won't do it.
have
I
no
won't
control over when
do
it
it.
restarts.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination.
No,
So
life
I
is
hope
about the
that's
Stanley
where we are
Parable
right
adventure
now.
line.
We'll
Everything
find out,
else
won't we?
is an illusion.
Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
I mean,
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
yeah. Do you think I would play the game
Yet
in
there
the
was not
Stanley
a
knife?
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I have played this game before, or possibly I haven't. I can't remember. I've got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. And Extreme Bathrooms magazine and Time magazine. Yeah.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
What?
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
This is just stuff. I mean, when it's not the Stanley Parable Adventure Line music.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward
I would have
into
preferred,
the
actually.
opened passageway.
Controls felt a bit weird.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Escape. Found the escape key.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Yeah, but I'm not there yet. That's like miles away.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Which is why I didn't do that.
At this
His
point,
choice is an
Stanley was
illusion.
making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I mean, willingly? Wee. Okay, looks fine.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real
Stanley
story,
is a liberal.
trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Did you
In a
voice this
single
as well?
visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
I mean, I listened to Well, There's Your Problem, and that's probably the best way to go.
And yet it
'Cause
would
at
be
least you
just
don't
a
have to
few
think
minutes
about it.
before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, Death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that
Do you
Stanley
see,
was already
Stanley? Do you
dead from the
see?
moment he hit
Do you
start?
see? Oh, actually, this from is kind of spoilers, but I've seen quite a lot of this, so and I mean we've seen it.
Now then, this elevator for sure will get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be in the story. Then he pushed the number 4. Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to
How
do
many
anything in
names
this room.
do you work under?
Perfect
For
example
fuck's
of
sake.
poor-level design, textbook mistake.
Stanley walked.
It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on
I don't know how you
intuitively
do
if you
it.
had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here,
Yeah, but
I'm
that's
just
not
going to
like
make
you.
this easy on you.
Stanley pushed the big red button.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward,
gotta
you'll be walking
keep
someone
streaming.
else's path. Stop.
Okay, I'm going to quit then, because partly because I've just been told to, but also